I threw myself on my mother's coffin. That was the last time I could feel her presence so close. She still had a familiar scent on her body, as gentle as when we squeezed together on the broken sofa. I held her like that until the staff came forward to urge me to leave. Because this is a free cemetery, people who don't pay don't even have a tombstone, and no marks will be left. Once the soil is filled, I may never find my mother's grave. At that moment, I suddenly realized that if I continue to hang out on the streets, the final outcome will be the same as my mother's: lonely, poor, and die quietly. I know that there is only one way out: continue to go to school. If you are now at the bottom of your life like I was then, please don't give up and hurry. Please listen to my story. Maybe it will change your life. My name is Liz. Although I have parents, I have lived like an orphan since I was a child. My mother's mood is up and down because she has been taking drugs for many years and has schizophrenia. Dad is a genius and always has a book in his hand. He could always answer questions faster than the host on TV quiz shows. But he was a heavy drinker all day long, and he was indifferent to me and my sister, as if we didn't exist at all. I survived only by looking through the trash cans for other people's leftovers. Every time I went to school, I smelled sour and my hair was full of lice. It wasn't that I didn't want to take a shower, but the water at home had been cut off for a long time. The water in the bathtub was as black as ink, and who knows how long it hadn't been changed. That day, I went to take the elementary school to junior high school exam. The teacher just came to me and wanted to collect my paper. No, I'll take it. But you've been here, what, 3 times this month? I'll take it. I tried my best to ask her to let me continue. She looked at me and nodded. After the test, she stopped me and said that I smelled and asked if my mother had reminded me. I didn't want to embarrass my mother, so I said that I forgot to take a shower. The teacher didn't expose me, but just asked if I was willing to take a shower here. Then she brought me a set of clean clothes and said I would change into them after washing. She spread out my test paper. I got 100 points. She asked me in surprise, "How did you do it? You didn't come to school." I said that a neighbor aunt gave me an encyclopedia she picked up from the trash can, and I happened to have read all the questions on the test paper. I was just lucky. The teacher's eyes changed when she looked at me. She said I was smart and humble. She insisted that I come to class every day. If I missed class, she would call the police to let the welfare agency intervene in my family. I nodded and agreed. After returning home, I couldn't wait to hand the test paper to my mother, but she didn't show any joy, only sadness on her face. She told me that she was diagnosed with AIDS. She planned to move her sister to her grandfather's house. I disagreed because I knew that my grandfather had a bad temper and violent tendencies, but my mother left in the end, taking my sister with her. I was hungry all day and could only eat biscuits soaked in tap water. Just then, people from the welfare agency broke in. It turned out that the teacher really reported my family, and they wanted to take me away and send me to a shelter. I was terrified and tried my best to explain for my father, saying that I could take care of myself. But my father just lowered his head and helped me pack my luggage silently. He didn't say a word, not even a goodbye. I understood. I was abandoned. From that day on, I became a person without a place to belong, like a leaf, blown anywhere by the wind. What's worse, the shelter was even harder to bear than my home. There was a group of problem girls gathered there, and they either quarreled or fought every day. On the first day, a girl poured boiling porridge directly on me. I screamed because of the burn, but they laughed like crazy. This is how they welcome new people. But I was still stupid at that time, and I thought they were just bad looking. Until one day, I saw a girl pour sulfuric acid into someone else's shampoo. The girl's screams resounded throughout the corridor. I realized they weren't just children, they were demons. In order to avoid them, I began to take the initiative to do all the dirty and tiring work, just to avoid offending anyone. I spent 7 years in such a place. Until I was 15 years old, I finally found an opportunity to escape. Homeless, I had no choice but to bite the bullet and go to my grandpa, hoping that my mother would take me in. To my surprise, my mother actually looked much better, no longer taking drugs, and her spirits had recovered a lot. She took me shopping and told me about the happy things in the past. That day, I felt it was the happiest day of my life. I thought we could start over, but she lowered her head and told me hesitantly that her grandfather had been sent to a homeless shelter because he couldn't pay the rent. Herself, in fact, was not really well. She now lives on drinking every day and has long been addicted to alcohol. After I moved in, my grandpa became more and more dissatisfied. Finally, after my mother got drunk again, a conflict broke out between me and my grandpa. I became a homeless child again. Your piece of trash father, walked out and stuck me with a lot of your stuff. Did I ask for this in my old age? Did I? Fortunately, I met Chris, a homeless girl who came out of the slums like me. Maybe we were too similar to each other, and we became friends the day we met. When we were sleepy, we slept in the subway station. When we were hungry, we begged on the street. And when we couldn't bear it, we went to the nearby store to steal a few cans of canned food. But even if life was so hard, I never thought of giving up. I was born not willing to degenerate, as if there was a voice in my heart that kept pulling me forward. Because as long as my mother was still there, I still had a home. So I often snuck back to my grandpa's house just to see her from a distance. Until one day I passed by the bar she often went to. I pushed open the door and saw a pile of change on the table in the corner where she often sat. The aunt sitting next to me told me that my mother had died in the morning. The money was collected by everyone. When I heard this, I felt that my eyes went dark and tears came out instantly. I broke down and cried. The family that I tried my best to maintain was completely broken. The next day, Chris accompanied me to my mother's funeral. There were no flowers, no prayers, not even a tombstone, just a cheap wooden box. My mother was gone, buried in the soil like grass. When she was alive, she always comforted herself and said it will be better later. She waited for a lifetime, and later never came. At that moment, I understood if I don't want to end my life like hers, I must change. I can't wait for later anymore. That night, I plucked up the courage to knock on the door of the neighbor aunt. I don't want to be an idiot. I want to go to school. Do you know when you really want to do something with all your might, the whole world will come to help you? With her help, I got an application opportunity to a private school. But on the first day, I was late because I didn't know the way, and the staff rejected me mercilessly. But I insisted on getting an application form which said, "What is your dream? Is it a dream of life or a dream of school?" I looked at that line of words and couldn't answer it for a while, but I knew that I had to study. Only in this way could I escape from the place where I was born. I wrote the application carefully, sat at the door and waited for 6 hours, and finally waited for the principal. Climb out of this place that I've been born in. I mean, everyone I know, they're just angry and tired, but I know that there's a world out there that's better developed. She looked at me in silence for a long time, then nodded. She agreed to my application for admission on the spot. But according to regulations, my guardian must come to sign. I had to go to the homeless shelter to find my father. When we met, there was no extra greeting, just like a routine. He signed for me. Looking at the opportunity I fought for by myself, he felt a little guilty for a while, desperately searching his pockets, trying to give me some change. But in the end, he didn't take out a penny. The scene was a bit awkward, so he had to change the subject. "I love you, Jack." "Don't love me, it's a waste of energy. When I was little, you were the most interesting thing in my world. Because of you, I know that there's another way of being." His eyes were red and he hugged me tightly. Then the man who lived a muddled-headed life finally said something a decent father should say. "Stay in school. I blew this, but you can do this." Hearing this, I also shed tears. This was the first time in my life that I really felt the tenderness of my parents. But when I really started school, I found that I had fallen behind in courses for 2 years and had to complete 4 years of courses in 2 years to catch up with the kids of my age and go to college. But that's not all. In addition to going to school, I also have to wash dishes in a restaurant. I put the book aside and memorize words while washing. After a busy day's work, I thought I could go home to rest, but I almost forgot that I didn't have a home at all. That subway runs 24 hours a day, and I sat 4 times before dawn. This kind of life is very hard, but it is regular. I like regularity because that feeling makes me feel at ease. The principal told me that the school will send the top 10 students to Boston for a free trip. I have never left New York, and I was excited and yearning when I heard it, but I lowered my head and said that I couldn't make it into the top 10. The principal smiled and said, "You are indeed not in the top 10. My heart sunk, but he continued, "Because you are the first in the state." The next day, I walked into the campus of Harvard University in Boston for the first time. Elite classmates and orderly life in front of me are like another world. And I, a girl who once lived by rummaging through trash cans, am standing in this world. But it is this perfection that makes me suddenly timid. Can I do it? And they're just people. At that moment, I finally understood what my dream was. I wanted to go to Harvard. But behind the dream is the cruel reality. In addition to grades, I also have to face the high tuition fees. I must get a scholarship.